또 왜 안 죽었어?
The door is finally opened by Anjo. They reach the top floor, but the helicopter had already taken off and they couldn't hear their cries for help. The last straw has passed them by. They escaped to the top floor, but the danger wasn't far away. GWINAM was right behind them. As the door to the top floor is unusually strong, GWINAM is unable to open it, so he has to find another way out. On the other hand, the bullied Eunji walks among the zombies and meets her classmates who had bullied her and have now turned into zombies, including the teacher, who she disemboweled. Eunji once reacted to a teacher that she was being bullied by her classmates, but the teacher thought it was her own fault. Thinking about this, Eunji turned around and ran back to the school building to find alcohol and a lighter. Eunji had become disillusioned with this school. Before the virus broke out, Eunji said she wanted to burn the school down, and now she has. Looking at the fire in front of her, Eunji didn't hesitate to leave. Eunji walks out of the school and rides her bike into the distance. On the rooftop, Chonsan wonders why GWINAM is here when he's already dead. Suhyak guesses that GWINAM can come back from the dead just like the Eunji they saw in the faculty office and of course Namare. Chonsan is very worried about their current situation, but Suhyak says Namare will never hurt them. They then used items on the roof to put up a distress signal in the hope of being rescued. As night is approaching, they want to make a fire to keep warm, so they use the principle of drilling wood to make fire. But after a few rounds, they never saw a spark. Then Namare took out a lighter from his pocket. The crowd was dumbfounded. Namare doesn't want Suhyak to know that she smokes, but it's not the time to worry about that anymore. On the other hand, in the archery hall, they made a stretcher for Junsong because he was injured and tried to carry him out, but Junsong was too heavy. A horde of zombies are running towards them, so they have no choice but to go back to the room. Junsong feels that he is dragging his teammates down and asks them to go first, but they've been through life and death together. They won't leave Junsong behind. Now they have to make a new sturdy stretcher. When the stretcher is ready, Mi-jin hears the sound of a helicopter on the roof and suggests that they go to the roof for help. After all, there's a better chance of being rescued up there, but the stairs outside can't take Junsong away, and there are still zombies around, so they have to give up on that idea for now. Soju over there was shot in the water and didn't die. Soju comes to the police station to clean up his wound, but he encounters a horde of zombies. Soju barged into the weapons room, took out a gun and loaded it with bullets, then fought his way out of the zombie horde. Soju did not go straight to his daughter's school but searched all the nearby schools to see if there were any survivors. After checking the map, Soju set off again with a gun in his backpack. On the other side, the fried chicken restaurant. Jaek and Hochul were preparing to leave the fried chicken restaurant. They wrapped themselves in cardboard to prevent getting bitten by zombies. Once everything was ready, Jaek hopped on a small motorcycle, carrying Hochul and two children. Hochul wielded a wooden stick to clear the zombies chasing after them. No matter where they rode, zombies were everywhere. The city had been completely infected, leaving them with no way out. Fortunately, Jaek had a clever idea and turned into a narrow alley. The zombies swarmed into the alley but got trapped, allowing them to finally escape. Just as they felt relieved, they suddenly heard cries for help. A man with a leg injury was trapped on the rooftop. Hochul told Jaek to drive away, but Jaek stopped and handed the baby in his arms to Hochul. Jaek asked Hochul to wait for them below and went to rescue the injured man. Zombies were chasing after him from behind, and Hochul rode the motorcycle to escape, leaving Jaek behind. At this moment, Jaek could only focus on saving the man. He bandaged the man's injured leg. Meanwhile, a large group of zombies had gathered downstairs. They needed to find a way to distract the zombies to leave the rooftop. As Jaek tried to lure the zombies away, a bus approached from a distance. To his surprise, the driver was Hochul. He didn't abandon Jaek but had found another mode of transportation. In an instant, the car has been surrounded by zombies and Jaek and the injured man jump onto the roof of the car. Hochul drove the bus swiftly, escaping the clutches of the zombies. But unexpectedly, they hit a person on the way. To check if the person was infected, Jaek decided to get off the bus and investigate, and it was Eunji who was hit by the car. As Jaek was about to take Eunji away, a barrage of bullets was fired towards them. It was the military personnel arriving on the scene. Jaek quickly identified himself to the military, not knowing that there was a half-human, half-zombie in their midst. Hochul thought they were finally saved. The military had another infected person, and they intended to use it for vaccine research. The commander ordered the soldier to contact the parents of the infected person to get their consent. Meanwhile, a soldier reported that a congressman was waiting for inspection, and she was under the command of the Ministry of National Defense. Reluctantly, the commander went to meet the congressman and firmly advised them to follow the restrictions. The congressman has only one request: to send a plane to Hyosan High School to save the children. Though the commander didn't give a direct answer, he had already taken the matter to heart. There are no helicopters available at the moment because they're all engaged in combat operations. The commander decided to use his special aircraft to inspect the schools in Shaoshan City. The soldier asked if he wanted to visit the Xiaodong because the commander's mother was there, but the commander said he would wait until it was classified as a rescue zone. At the school, Na Yun, who was hiding in the music room, comes out and picks up the video camera on the floor and watches the video recorded by her classmates. Na Yun suddenly got up and picked up a bag and started to fill it with food. When Na Yun heard Jiansu's name on the video camera, she froze with tears in her eyes. Na Yun turned around and had a hallucination that Jiansu was beside her. Remembering her classmates' accusations, she burst into tears. After Na Yun walked out of the classroom, she was almost chased by Jiansu, who turned into a zombie. At a critical moment, Sunhwa appeared just in time and saved Na Yun, but Sunhwa accidentally got bitten by a zombie. To ensure Na Yun's safety, Sunhwa locked her inside the music classroom while she stayed outside. The zombies around Sunhwa are all Jiansu and Na Yun's eyes. Although Na Yun felt guilty about intentionally hurting Jiansu, her prideful nature prevented her from admitting it. Otherwise, she wouldn't have chosen to leave at that time. Sunhwa understands Na Yun very well and knows that she hurt Jiansu out of fear. Sunhwa wants Na Yun to survive, help her classmates, and fit in with the group. With these thoughts, Na Yun picked up the food from the floor and walked out of the classroom. This time, she decided to stand up and help her classmates. However, Na Yun unexpectedly encountered GWI outside the classroom. Unaware that GWI had turned into a zombie, Na Yun has no defense against GWI and is bitten by GWI in the next second. Meanwhile, on the rooftop, the group of survivors gathered around a bonfire for a heart-to-heart conversation. The reserved Chongsan confessed his feelings to Anzhou. Anzhou couldn't accept it immediately and wanted some time alone to think, so she chose to sit in a corner. Unbeknownst to them, GWI had found a way to get upstairs and was gradually approaching them. Anzhou looks at Chongsan's back in the distance and doesn't know what to do. Suddenly, a noise caught Anzhou's attention, and she looked up to see GWI climbing onto the rooftop. GWI climbed to the top of the building and ran straight to Chongsan. GWI pushed Chongsan to the ground and GWI tried to blind Chongsan with his fingers. Chongsan cried out in pain. Suhayak comes to his aid, and Suhayak and GWI fight together, but GWI, who is a half-zombie, is not that easy to deal with. Suhayak is knocked down in a couple of blows. Then, Namare suddenly transformed and engaged in a fierce fight with GWI. But Namare, being a woman, was no match for GWI and was knocked down by GWI. Suhayak sees this and goes to help Namare, but he is overpowered by GWI. Namare saw the right moment to push Suhayak off the rooftop. Meanwhile, the research facility was accelerating its efforts to identify the virus's type and source. Only then could they develop an antidote, but so far, they had no results. Even more strangely, every time they conducted tests, the virus structure changed, as if it were evolving. At this time, a soldier reported to the commander that a rescued policeman had some understanding of the virus. Earlier, Bayan-chan had told Jaek about a computer in his laboratory that contained methods to resist the virus. The commander sends a team to Hyosan High School immediately after receiving the information. In the school, people are sitting around and talking. A helicopter is flying in the distance and they try to attract the rescue team's attention with a fire. The rescue team landed on the rooftop to check the situation and ordered them all to lie down on the ground to check everyone's status. The body temperatures of the students were normal, but when it was Namare's turn, Her temperature showed 34 degrees. The rescue team assumed it was just hypothermia and didn't suspect anything. After confirming their safety, the rescue team told the survivors to stay on the rooftop and took them away after the mission. Meanwhile, the 4 individuals hiding in the training ground also decided to take a chance and head to the top floor for a glimmer of hope. Only heard a bang. The rescue team broke the window and swept the zombies in front of them. Upon hearing the gunfire, other zombies rushed towards the sound, but it didn't hinder the rescue team's actions at all. The army killed and successfully came to the science room to decode the files in the computer, and after the successful copying of the files, the rescue team withdrew on the same way and transferred the trapped students. At this moment, an unexpected incident occurred in the protection center. The infected Eun-ji meets Chul-soo and attacks him as she hates the man who used to bully her. In the end, it took 5 special forces to subdue Eun-ji. According to experts' judgment, Eun-ji was an asymptomatic carrier of the virus, which meant some infected individuals couldn't be distinguished from normal people, so the commander ordered to abandon the rescue of the survivors to ensure the safety of the people concerned. Upon receiving the order, the rescue team had to put the students who had just boarded the plane back on the ground. It was their closest opportunity to hope, yet they were mercilessly abandoned. The commander even ordered all of them to be killed. It's better to kill 1,000 than to spare one, but the lead soldier went soft and didn't carry out the order. The students watched the search and rescue team leave, but there was nothing they could do. At that moment, they truly experienced what it meant to be abandoned by the whole world. Soju escapes from the sanctuary and rushes to the school without stopping to save his daughter. On the way, Soju meets a man whose wife is pregnant and trapped in a car. The woman can't hold on much longer, but Soju can't get away. Soju gives the man food and a shotgun and tells him that a search and rescue team will be there soon, and he hopes he can hold on a little longer. After saying this, Soju was about to leave, but to his surprise, the man pointed the gun at him, forcing Soju to save his wife. But even then Soju didn't stop. In the end, the man didn't shoot. After several tests, it was discovered that the virus in Eun-ji's body appeared intermittently, indicating an evolutionary result. In other words, the virus could be detected when symptoms were visible, but at other times, Eun-ji was indistinguishable from a normal person, and even testing would not reveal whether she was infected. The Disease Control Center concluded that asymptomatic individuals should also be considered as infected. After careful consideration, the commander issued an order to classify all residents in the shelter as asymptomatic carriers and subject them to close monitoring. On the other side, Namare, who was infected, became extremely sensitive to sounds, especially the piercing sound of thunder. Suhayok pulls off the corner of his shirt and uses it as an earplug to help Namare relieve her pain. The thunder was followed by pouring rain, which was undoubtedly life-saving manna for them, who had not had a drink of water for a long time, and the rain has given them renewed hope, and they decide to escape from this hellhole. Out the back door of the auditorium were the tennis courts, and then across the back of the hill of the living hall. On the other side of the hill was Dongyang City, where they believed they would be safe. Encouraged by Chongsan, the group decided to take a daring chance. They split into pairs to ensure no one would be left behind. Because of the rain, the infected's sense of smell and hearing are slowed down. The group of 4 senses something unusual and decides to head for the back of the mountain and escape to Dongyang City.